Today we're talking to Dustin Mitchell, our incoming BMG Brewmaster General. How you doing?
All right.
We are at our annual Oktoberfest party at Scott's house, and Dustin's actually brewing a brown ale, is it? So I thought this would be a fun experiment to instead of the usual kitchen interview. So I mean, usually I say, "What are we drinking now?" But it's like, "What are we brewing now?"
So this is a pretty generic brown ale extract recipe.
Yeah.
We're practicing for the demo at the Learn to Homebrew Day next week. So I both want to make sure that I know all the supplies that are required for this recipe, and also have a brewed version of the recipe ready for next week, so we can demo doing the bottling process.
Cool.
Hopefully this will be ready to bottle.
All right. So let's get into the vitals. How old are you? Where are you from? And what do you do for a living?
I'm 36. I'm really from all over, and I work in IT for Mozilla for a living.
Cool. So did you get into homebrewing first or into craft beer first?
Craft beer, really. I don't know if I was into craft beer compared to when I am now, but that's sort of my introduction to beer was, wow, this stuff's really good.
Did you have like a epiphany moment or anything, or was it just over time? Or?
Yeah, a friend of mine took me to a bar in Boston. I was visiting him actually for work.
Right.
And he said, "Do you like bitter beers?" And I said, "I don't know, I've never really had a bitter beer." And I didn't really drink beer at the time. And he had me, he ordered me a Founder's Red's Rye.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was absolutely delicious. The hop flavor and the hop aroma were, I'd never experienced that before. And it wasn't that I ran out the next day and started buying beers, but that sort of got me thinking this beer stuff could really be good.
What year was that?
Probably 2003 or so.
Okay. So how long until you got into homebrewing? Or when did you get into homebrewing?
I don't know the exact date, but I got a homebrew kit and some basic equipment. In fact, the barrel I'm brewing with today is part of that original equipment. Just as a way to...
Here's the extract, and
it was a nice way to, try out the hobby, try out something new. I like trying new things all the time. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. The homebrew store, it was in Annapolis, Maryland. The homebrew store there was great. They're very encouraging. They love to talk. So.
Any idea on how many batches you've made to date?
Probably 40 or so. I could flip through my notebook, but I actually have a recipe, or a record of every beer I've ever brewed in there.
Cool. Yeah, I keep mine on my computer. Well, this kind of answers this question. Do you brew all grain or extract? But actually, the extract is, you do all grain, right?
I generally do all grain, yeah. The reason this is extract is because that's what we're demoing next.
Right. What kind of equipment do you use?
Nothing particularly special. I have a drink cooler, 20-gallon drink cooler that I use for my mash tun.
Right.
And I don't have a false bottom for that. I have basically a torpedo screen made out of stainless steel toilet attachments.
It's like a rectangle one or like a cylinder one?
It's a cylinder. So I took the attachments you do between the water inlet and a sink or a toilet. That's vinyl hose with stainless steel cover on it. You take the vinyl hose out, and that stainless steel cover makes a good screen.
Cool. Do you keg or bottle?
I almost exclusively keg now. I got a kegerator about a year ago. It's so much easier. I thought I'd be doing some bottling out of the kegs. I actually got a beer gun for that purpose, but I rarely ever put anything in
How many beers do you usually have on tap at any given time? 2,
pretty much. I have 4 kegs. Usually one's got water in it for cleaning taps and things like that, and the other one's waiting to go on tap.
There's a 2-tap kegerator?
That's right.
Cool. Do you come up with recipes yourself, or do you get them online, or kits, or how do you come up with the recipes?
Not kits, but a little of all the rest. I usually start by thinking what style do I want, and then from there it seems the logical place to go is brewing classic styles. I usually will look at the recipe there to see that both sort of has a basic recipe and these are the important characteristics in terms of how to brew this beer.
Right.
I'll generally look around on the web to see if I can find some other recipes, especially if I'm thinking I wanted something like a particular beer. I'll look for a clone recipe, maybe see what hops are used there. And then I start putting the recipe together myself on usually, I used to use hop fill, it's now brew toad. But it's just enough of the calculations of OG and FG and IBU and things like that to see, am I close to the style without spending the money on real software.
Like this summer when we were at the Schmaltz opening, you had like an Earl Grey Tea IPA on tap. Like, how did you come up with that? Was that just something you heard about, or just an idea that came to you?
It was an idea that came to me, really. I like the bergamot flavor in Earl Grey, and I wanted to see, it's sort of a hoppy flavor. It's a citrus, really. It's pretty far from any of the citrus we've had, but it's a citrus flavor, so it fits in the hop range. I thought, what would it be like to hop with this? Make a neat IPA. So I tried it. I tried a 1 gallon the original time, and then for a National Homebrew Convention, I decided I'd scale it up to 5 gallons. And actually tried 3 times. I had some disasters in that, but the third one came out really well.
All right, so you do ales exclusively, or have you done any lagers?
I pretty much do ales exclusively. I don't have a lot of control of fermentation temperature, which is the main equipment thing I want to fix. But that means, ales you can kind of cheat.
Right.
Pretty much ferment everything at 75 or 80 or whatever your ambient temperature is.
Right.
But lagers, you really can't nail a lager at that temperature.
Yeah. Do you have like a cold basement in your house or anything?
Just moved to a house with a basement that is a little bit more consistent. I used to be in an apartment and I was trying to crack windows and close doors and close vents, but that didn't work very well.
Is this something you want to
consistent?
Do you want to try to get to do that someday, or?
I would. I want to build a fermentation chamber that I can control at arbitrary temperatures.
Cool.
But so far I've only bought the temperature controller. I don't have the rest of it.
So at this point, would you consider yourself a novice, intermediate, or expert homebrewer?
I don't know about expert, but I think advanced. There aren't a lot of techniques I haven't tried. There's certainly things I'm not terribly good at.
Right.
But I think that puts me in the advanced category.
Have you entered any homebrew competitions, and if so, have you won any?
I have not. I have not. I entered one of the feeders for the long shot competition while I was in Chicago, and I've entered a few in this area. And nothing won, but then I'm not particularly focused on brewing exactly the style or really doing the kinds of things that get you to the top of a competition.
Are you entering anything in the Knickerbocker?
I am. I have a robust porter that turned out to be pretty fine, so it seems well within the style parameters. So this one, it's going to be more than just feedback for me.